Hi, I'm Ash and welcome to this review of the Reedin SuperNatural 2025. For those who follow the channel, you'll know that last year Reedin came out of nowhere with a really good wing and really stepped up their game. That wing wasn't without its flaws. It was lacking ultra low wind capability and sheeting angles for going upwind were a bit odd, but otherwise it was really good, a light wing with exceptional flag out capability. Now we have the 2025 edition of the wing, and there are some small changes to the design. The leading edge and strut are made of lightweight Dacron, similar to that used in an SLS duotone unit. The canopy is mostly ripstop, but there is a treated coated material along the trailing edge to provide extra anti-stretch capability. The wing also has a few extra protections on it compared to last year around the wingtips and on some of the wingtip seams. Other changes compared to last year are a differently shaped strut and also carbon UDI tape in the leading edge out to the wingtips to add some stiffness and flex rebound to the leading edge. The handles are the same, although the handle UVA covering seems to be a bit more abrasive than it was last year. Certainly if you have soft hands you may find this material a bit hard wearing. The handles themselves are otherwise the same as last year, including the semi-symmetrical handle shape where it is oval towards the fingertips but squared off towards the palm, which I didn't particularly like in last year's wing. Straightforward oval would be better in my opinion. Like last year, there are no windows, which is actually okay for me. Most wing windows are fairly useless for visibility. Inflation is a one pump system with a connecting hose between the strut and leading edge. There is a large dump valve on the strut and the valve is the usual Reedin max flow valve, love it or hate it. Pressure for the 5-meter wing is 8 psi. We also still have 3 soft battens for the trailing edge, a small load diffuser at the rear of the strut, but nothing out towards the wingtips to diffuse load. For canopy tension, we have some pretty good tension in the first third of the canopy and it loosening off towards the rear. We do once again have a very lightweight wing and it comes with a good leash and a decent sized sturdy front flag handle. So overall the changes are subtle and the main DNA of the wing appears to be very similar to last year. Holding the wing on the beach, we once again have a very stable flag out and the wing feels very neutral, neither lifting or pressing down on the flag handle. It has the same stable feel as last year, so my expectations are a very good flag out for wave riding. Okay, let's get it onto the water and see what's changed. Our reviews, as always, follow a set structure and you can see what we're going to cover here on the screen. I won't read all of it out, we'll just get into the first category, which is pumping onto foil. I tested the Reedin in both power conditions and very light conditions. One thing last year's wing was not good at was working in ultralight wind and allowing you to pump in almost no wind to generate forward speed. I'm very happy to say this is entirely resolved in this year's wing. Here you see me do 37 pumps to get onto foil because the wind was so light, but the Reedin competently allowed me to pump all the way through and build speed. For pump technique, it is very similar to a duotone unit. You just get hold of it and go for it. The pump I'd say is a fairly fast cadence and this is helped by the light weight of the wing and its willingness to fly upwards with a bit of persuasion after each pump. Once up on foil, we have a balanced wing with even pull between the hands. Gust handling is competent with no noticeable shift to the centre of effort of the wing. Stability is really nice and the wing does not feel nervous or move around unexpectedly. It's very stable in that regard. You can cruise at low speed or sheet in and ride fast and everything stays very calm and competent. And I didn't notice any of the strange sheeting angles from last year's wing where if you sheeted in too hard you'd just lose power. This one you could power up quite nicely. For jibes, it's simply a joy to use. It floats beautifully, it's lovely and lightweight, rotates really nicely, really superb for ordinary jibes. For more advanced jibes, again it has a playful nature and you really benefit from the lightness it has in the hands. Race jibes were easy and benefited from the lightweight nature of the SuperNatural. Heineken jibes are also the same, with the wing feeling like it floats through the whole manoeuvre. Playfulness is really ingrained in the SuperNatural DNA. The first minor chink in the armour comes with tacks. Whilst I would say it tacks reasonably well, there are better tacking wings available. Because it has such a neutral and flat flag out, this in tacks makes it tend to want to fly horizontal and flatten out, so you do have to be more commanding to make it go where you want it. I prefer to get the wing over and flying on its side, whereas the SuperNatural would prefer to try to flatten out and fly flat, which makes it harder to ride with speed out of the manoeuvre. Hillside tacks were a bit harder than with the duotone unit, and again this was due to a bit of drag in the canopy and it wanted to fly flat through the hand transition. For jumping, this is a very good wing. It produces good lift and gives you excellent feedback during the jump, meaning you feel in control and able to glide back down rather than just drop like a rock. I did really enjoy jumping with this wing. It just made the whole process feel easier than when I jump on my duotone units. For flagging out, again like last year's wing, we have a really good flag out. It just rides impeccably on the flag handle and almost disappears, leaving you free to think about wave riding rather than wing management. I didn't get very good footage unfortunately of this. The days that I was filming, the swell was really very poor. For speed, I would not say the Reedin is slow. It's very similar to a duotone unit, but equally there are faster wings available. It sits for me nicely in the mid pack for overall speed, and it isn't a wing that particularly goads you into riding faster or powering up more. For backwind riding, I wasn't massively keen on the SuperNatural. It was capable and I got some decent backwind rides, but it felt a bit underpowered and not that stable in the backwind position. One thing I did discover was that the Reedin is not very nice to leave on a long leash while you climb on your board. It seems to fly up and smack back down onto the water, regardless of what way up it is, each time with quite a big yank on the wrist from the leash. Quite unpleasant and not that great for beginners who often long leash their wings before learning to just not do that. I want to just return to sheeting angles again, as last year's wing had this weird thing where sheeting in hard created less power and running sheeted out slightly was better for going upwind. This, as I've already said, is fixed, but I just wanted to reiterate it as it was one of my main issues with last year's wing. You can sheet it hard to cut upwind now and it maintains power until you just cut too high and then the wing starts to go neutral and just not generate power anymore. So overall we have some significant fixes in this year's wing for the sheeting angle and also the ultralight wind performance, which I really didn't like last year either. Both of those are now fixed, plus they've made it jump better. On the negative side, we have this now quite unpleasant long leash behavior where the wing bounces up and down no matter which way it is up on the water. That's not very nice for beginners, and we still have a tack which kind of suffers a little bit from the fact that the wing is so good at flagging out that it just wants to fly flat through a tack rather than go over onto its side. You can make the wing go over onto its side. It's something you can adjust your technique for, but it just requires you to be more committed and drive the wing harder or boss it more in the tack in order to get that behavior. Okay, so for pros and cons. The pros, and there are quite a lot of them, are excellent flag out. It's very lightweight like last year, and the construction is good. It's very playful and jibes really well and would make a good beginner wing for learning to jibe. It has a good stability and balance. It's good in light wind now, and it's also much better in jumps than last year's wing, so really good for jumps now as well. So lots of pros. The cons are poor long leash characteristics, with this jumping off the water and smacking back down no matter which way up it is, which is not a good thing if you're a beginner, because quite often you're off your board and getting back on again and the wing is smacking up and down and being annoying. And the tack characteristic is very similar to last year. It's a little flat and overhead, which is fine if that's how you like to do your tack. I prefer to have the wing flying on its side so it pulls me through the tack, and that needs a much more aggressive send than with something like a duotone unit or an ozone flux V2, for example. In terms of who this wing is for, I'm afraid for me the long leash behaviour would make me uncomfortable recommending it to a beginner, so it's for intermediate or expert riders. Riders who wave ride, jump, or like a playful lightweight wing would be core customers for this wing. It's a decent all-rounder for any competent rider, and very much in the top 5 or even top 3 wings that I've tested this year. I wouldn't necessarily see it as a race wing. There are now dedicated race wings which are much faster than the Reedin, so it's not really for that. This is for free ride or freestyle, and for those disciplines it's very, very good. Last of all, we should discuss the price, and this wing is priced at £850 for the 5 metre, which, given the performance of this wing, is an absolute bargain compared to other wings on the market, particularly as it comes with everything. It comes with the leash, it comes with the adapter for the valve, and you don't have to buy handles for it. It comes with the handles as well. So a really, really good price on this wing. Definitely on my short list of wings, as this is a solid offering at a competitive price. I'm still investigating what other wings I want to run going forward into next year, but the SuperNatural is certainly a contender. At the moment, the ones on my short list are the SuperNatural, the Ozone Flux V2, which I've got a review coming on soon, and I'm also interested to see what Duotone do with this year's unit, as I've heard that they are putting some playfulness back into that wing, which was the thing that I didn't like in the 2025 wing. That was somewhat removed in favour of wave riding and flag out, but apparently in the 2026 wing that characteristic of playfulness is coming back. So I'd like to thank the Water Sports Centre for the demo of the wing. As always, they've been really good in supplying me with wings that I can test, and this is on demo through them. So if you want to try the Reedin 5 metre that you can see in the video, then you can do that through the Water Sports Centre. I'll put links in the description, and I'll see you on the next video.